Michael Clark, a 35-year-old marketing consultant, was driving home through Seattle's drizzle after a client pitch. The radio buzzed faintly about traffic delays as he navigated the familiar streets near his neighborhood. His mind was half on the presentation he'd just nailed, half on whether to grab pizza for dinner. Then, a glint of silver caught his eye. A Ford Mustang parked on a quiet street near the park. In the passenger seat sat his wife, Emily. She wasn't supposed to be there. Emily had texted that morning about a late meeting at her tech firm, something about a new client campaign. Yet here she was, laughing, her head tilted toward a man Michael didn't recognize. The man, broad-shouldered with short dark hair, rested his hand on her shoulder. Emily didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned closer, her smile wide and unguarded, the kind Michael hadn't seen in months. His stomach twisted. He slowed the car, gripping the wheel, but didn't stop. Not yet. He needed to think. Michael drove the last few blocks home, his pulse hammering. Emily's car wasn't in the driveway. He walked inside, the silence of the house pressing against him. 10 minutes later, the front door clicked open. Emily breezed in, setting her keys on the counter. "Hey," she said, her voice light. "You're home early." "Client wrapped up quick," Michael said, watching her. "You?" "Meeting got canceled," she replied, not meeting his eyes. "A colleague gave me a ride." She moved to the fridge, pulling out a water bottle, her movements smooth but deliberate. Michael nodded, but the image of her in that Mustang burned in his mind. "Who was it?" he asked, keeping his tone casual. "Oh, just Nathan from work," she said, shrugging. He was nearby. She turned away, busying herself with her phone. Nathan. Michael had heard the name before, a coworker on her team, someone she'd mentioned in passing. But never like this. Never as someone who'd pick her up in a sleek Mustang on a random Tuesday. He wanted to press her, to ask why she hadn't called him instead, but the words stuck. Instead, he said cool, and headed to the living room, his chest tight. That night, Emily cooked dinner. Pasta, her go-to when she was distracted. She chatted about work, a new project, an annoying client. Michael listened, nodding, but his mind replayed the scene from the car. The way she'd laughed, the way the man's hand lingered. It wasn't just a ride. It felt personal, intimate. After dinner, Emily took a call in the other room. Michael caught fragments, her voice low, a soft laugh. When she returned, she said it was a co-worker finalizing a deadline. But her phone stayed face down on the table, something she'd started doing lately. Michael didn't ask who it was. He didn't trust himself to stay calm. Later, in bed, Emily scrolled through her phone, the screen's glow casting shadows. Michael stared at the ceiling, unable to sleep. She'd kissed him goodnight, same as always, but it felt mechanical. He kept seeing her in that car, her ease with another man. It wasn't proof of anything, not yet, but it was enough to crack the trust he'd taken for granted. He needed answers, and he'd find them. Michael couldn't shake the image of Emily in that Mustang. Her laugh, the man's hand on her shoulder, it gnawed at him. Over the next few days, he watched her closely. Emily's behavior had shifted in ways he hadn't noticed before. She locked her phone every time she left the room, something she never used to do. Late-night texts lit up her screen, but she'd swipe them away, claiming they were work stuff. One evening, she came home after 9 p.m., her excuse a vague team meeting ran long. Michael nodded, but the faint scent of cologne on her jacket wasn't his. He didn't confront her. Not yet. He needed proof, not suspicions. On Thursday, while Emily was in the shower, Michael grabbed her laptop from the kitchen counter. She'd left it open, a rare slip. He hesitated, his fingers hovering over the trackpad. This wasn't him snooping, doubting, but the knot in his gut pushed him forward. He opened her cloud storage, scanning folders labeled work and miscellaneous. In a subfolder marked drafts, he found a screenshot of a text thread. It was Emily and Nathan. "Can't wait for Portland," Nathan wrote, followed by a winking emoji. Emily's reply, a heart. The date was for this weekend. She told Michael she was visiting a friend in Tacoma. His chest tightened. Portland wasn't a work trip. He dug deeper, finding a hotel confirmation email for a boutique place in Portland's Pearl District, booked under Emily's name. 2 guests, 1 room. Michael's hand shook as he closed the laptop. He heard the shower shut off and slid the device back to its spot. Emily emerged, humming, oblivious. "You okay?" she asked, glancing at him. "Yeah," Michael lied, forcing a smile. "Just tired." That night, he barely slept. Emily's phone buzzed at 2 a.m. She silenced it quickly, but Michael saw the name flash. Nathan. She rolled over, pretending to sleep. He stared at the ceiling, piecing together the lies. The late nights, the locked phone, the sudden friend visits. It wasn't random. She was hiding something big. The next morning, Michael acted normal, making coffee while Emily rushed out for an early meeting. As soon as her car pulled away, he downloaded a tracking app on his tablet, syncing it to her phone's cloud account. He found her login in the laptop's password manager. Guilt prickled, but he pushed it down. The app showed her location, not her office, but a coffee shop downtown. He cross-checked her calendar, which listed client sync at the same time. Another lie. By Friday, the app revealed more. Emily's phone pinged at a gym she didn't use, a bar she'd never mentioned, and, late at night, an apartment complex across town. Michael drove there, parking across the street. The Mustang was there, Nathan's name on the mailbox. Michael's heart pounded, but he didn't approach. He snapped a photo of the car and left, his mind racing. This was no fling. It was deliberate, planned. Back home, Michael scoured her laptop again. He found a shared cloud folder labeled Project X with Nathan. Inside were photos. Emily and Nathan at a conference, their shoulders touching. A selfie by a river, her head on his chest. The last file was a plane ticket draft, San Francisco, one-way, dated 3 months out. Emily's name was on it. So was Nathan's. Michael's blood ran cold. She wasn't just cheating. She was planning a new life. Michael's hands trembled as he stared at the plane ticket draft on his tablet. Emily and Nathan, planning to flee to San Francisco in 3 months. The betrayal wasn't just an affair. It was a calculated exit from his life. He couldn't breathe. He wanted to confront her, to demand answers, but he knew she'd lie. He needed more than screenshots and suspicions. He needed an ally. The next morning, as Emily left for work, Michael's phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "This is Kate, Nathan's wife. I know about Emily. Can we talk?" His pulse spiked. Kate had found him. How? He didn't know, but her message was a lifeline. He replied, agreeing to meet at a diner near Pike Place Market that afternoon. Kate was already there when he arrived, sitting in a corner booth, her phone clutched tightly. She looked tense but composed, her eyes scanning the room until they locked on Michael. She waved him over. "Thanks for coming," she said as he sat. Her voice was steady, but her knuckles were white. "I didn't know who else to turn to. How did you find me?" Michael asked. Emily's name came up in Nathan's emails. Kate said, "I hired a private investigator after I caught him lying about a business trip. He got your contact from her phone records." She slid a folder across the table. This is what he found. Michael opened it. Photos spilled out. Emily and Nathan at a Portland restaurant, their hands intertwined. Them checking into a hotel, Nathan's arm around her waist. A gas station selfie, their faces pressed close. There were receipts too, dinners, a rental car, a wine bar in Seattle. The final page was a bombshell, a joint lease agreement for an apartment in San Francisco, signed by both Emily and Nathan, dated 2 weeks ago. Michael's throat tightened. "They're moving together," he said, barely a whisper. Kate nodded. "Nathan's been selling our stocks behind my back to fund it. I found out yesterday." Her voice cracked, but she steadied herself. "They think they can just disappear. We can't let them." Michael leaned back, processing. Kate wasn't just a scorned spouse. She was a strategist, her anger honed into purpose. "What's your plan?" he asked. "I know their company's policy," she said. "No relationships between co-workers on the same client accounts. Emily and Nathan have been working together on 3 major campaigns. I have emails, meeting logs, even a joint presentation they gave last month. If we report this to HR, they're done." Michael hesitated. It wasn't just about revenge. It was about dismantling their lies. But he wanted more leverage. "Can we prove the affair too?" he asked. Kate pulled out her phone, showing a screenshot of a video call. Emily sat at a hotel desk, laughing. In the background, Nathan, shirtless, passed by a mirror. "My PI got this from their shared cloud account," she said. "They didn't even bother logging out." Michael's jaw clenched. The proof was ironclad. "I'm in," he said. "But we do this smart. No mistakes." They spent the next hour plotting. Kate would compile the corporate evidence. Emails, calendars, client overlaps. Michael would add the personal proof. The hotel bookings, the plane tickets, the photos from his tracking app. They'd submit it anonymously through a third-party email to avoid blowback. As they parted, Kate's eyes met his. "We're not victims," she said. "Not anymore." That night, Michael sat alone, the folder open on his table. Emily texted, saying she'd be late again. He didn't reply. The truth was in his hands now, and he wouldn't let it slip away. Michael and Kate moved fast. Over the weekend, they finalized their evidence. Kate's corporate proof, emails, meeting logs, and joint presentations showing Emily and Nathan's policy violations, and Michael's personal findings, including hotel bookings, plane tickets, and a damning video call screenshot. They crafted an anonymous email to the HR department of Emily and Nathan's tech firm, attaching the files through a third-party service to cover their tracks. Michael hit send late Sunday night. His heart raced, but there was no turning back. Monday morning, Emily left for work as usual, her phone glued to her hand. Michael watched her go, his face neutral. She hadn't noticed his silence, or if she had, she didn't care. By noon, Kate texted, HR opened the email. They're pulling records. Michael exhaled, the weight of waiting pressing down. He kept busy, diving into a client project, but his mind was on the fallout. Tuesday brought the first sign of trouble. Emily came home early, her keys hitting the counter harder than usual. Rough day, she muttered, avoiding Michael's eyes. He didn't ask questions, but her tension was palpable. Kate called that evening, her voice low. They've been called in for separate meetings tomorrow. It's happening. Michael nodded, though she couldn't see. The plan was working, but he felt no joy, only a cold resolve. Wednesday morning, Emily was gone before Michael woke. He checked his phone, a message from Kate. Both suspended pending investigation. By afternoon, the verdict landed. Kate forwarded an internal memo, leaked by a contact. Emily and Nathan were terminated for violating the company's relationship policy and misusing client accounts. No severance, no appeal. Michael stared at the screen, the words blurring. It was done. That evening, Emily stormed through the door, her face pale. You did this, didn't you? She shouted, slamming her bag down. Michael met her gaze, unflinching. Did what? He asked, his voice steady. Don't play dumb, she snapped. Someone sent HR everything. Emails, photos, my trip with Nathan. They fired us both. Her hands shook, but her eyes burned with defiance. How did you even know? Michael pulled out his phone, showing the Portland hotel receipt he'd saved. You lied about Tacoma, he said. I found the rest from there. Emily froze, her mouth opening, then closing. For the first time, she looked caught. I can explain, she started, her voice softer now. It wasn't supposed to go this far. I got lost, Michael. I didn't mean to hurt you. You didn't just hurt me, he said, cutting her off. You planned a new life with him. San Francisco, the apartment, don't deny it. He slid the lease agreement across the table. Her eyes widened, then dropped. I'm sorry, she whispered, tears forming. I'll end it. We can fix this. Michael shook his head. There's no we left. You made your choice. He pointed to the door. Pack your things. I want you out by tomorrow. Emily's face crumpled, but she didn't argue. She moved to the bedroom, her steps heavy. Michael stayed in the kitchen, the silence deafening. He didn't feel triumph, only clarity. The lies were exposed, the truth laid bare. That night, he slept alone, the bed too big without her. But for the first time in weeks, he wasn't haunted by doubts. Emily packed her bags that night, her movements slow and deliberate. Michael stayed in the kitchen, scrolling through work emails to avoid her. She tried to speak once, her voice breaking. Michael, please just talk to me. He didn't look up. There's nothing left to say, he said, his tone flat. By morning, her car was gone, along with her suitcases. A note on the counter read, I'm staying with my parents. I am sorry. Michael crumpled it and tossed it in the trash. The house felt empty, but he didn't miss her, just the version of her he believed in. Kate texted later that day. Nathan's out too. I filed for divorce. Michael called her, needing to know how she was holding up. I'm not okay, Kate admitted, her voice steady but tired. But I'm free. She confirmed Nathan had moved to a friend's place, his career in ruins after the HR fallout. Kate had submitted her own report to their company's legal team, citing Nathan's unauthorized stock sales. He'll face more than just a firing, she said. Michael admired her resolve. They agreed to meet again, not to plot, but to close this chapter. On Friday, they sat at a coffee shop near the Seattle waterfront. Kate slid a USB drive across the table. All the evidence, she said, in case you need it for the divorce. Michael nodded, pocketing it. What's next for you? He asked. Kate shrugged. I'm selling the house, starting fresh. Maybe Portland. She paused, then added, You should do the same. Don't let this define you. Her words stuck with Michael. He wasn't a victim, but he wasn't whole yet either. Back home, Michael began untangling his life from Emily's. He changed the locks, canceled their joint streaming accounts, and removed her from his phone plan. Each step felt like cutting a thread, freeing him from her shadow. Emily texted once, begging to meet. I ended it with Nathan. I want to fix us. Michael didn't reply. Her apologies were too late, her promises hollow. He blocked her number, not out of anger, but to protect his peace. A week later, Michael heard through a mutual friend that Emily had taken a low-level job at a startup, her reputation tarnished in the tech scene. Nathan, too, was struggling, blacklisted from major firms. Their San Francisco dream was dead. Michael felt no satisfaction, only closure. Their consequences weren't his victory. They were the natural result of their choices. He started small changes to rebuild. He signed up for a photography class, something he'd always wanted to try, but postponed for Emily's sake. The first session was awkward, but holding the camera felt right, like rediscovering a part of himself. One evening, he walked along the Seattle waterfront, the city lights reflecting on the water. He snapped a photo of the skyline, the image sharp and clear. It wasn't joy, but it was progress. Kate called a month later. I'm moving next week, she said. Wanted to say thanks. We got through this together. Michael smiled, the first real one in weeks. Take care, Kate. He hung up, feeling lighter. The pain of Emily's betrayal hadn't vanished, but it no longer controlled him. He'd chosen truth over lies, action over despair. And that was enough to start again.